Am I the a-hole for completely cutting my wife off from our finances because she wouldn't stop ordering takeout? And from the outset, you read that title and you're like, you're the asshole. But wait until you hear the story. Basically, he says that his wife is off work for a minor disability for which she didn't qualify for any government support. So he has been financially supporting her. Apparently, she started ordering takeout maybe once or twice a week, and then that escalated to basically every day. He says he always makes sure that the fridge is full of food and there are things that she can eat easily, like things she can just throw in the microwave. Last month, she spent almost $1,200 on takeout. He said this is not something that they can afford. There were some days where she actually ordered twice. So what he did was pay off the credit card that she was using to put all of the takeout onto and then close the credit card, but didn't tell her. She didn't find out the credit card was cut off until she actually tried to order takeout. It didn't go through. And then she texted her husband like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I cut it off. He says, well, when I walked in the door that evening, my wife was lying on the floor dramatically saying that she had low blood sugar. I told her that she could easily eat any of the food that we have in our fridge or freezer. She was furious at me all weekend was what I did over the top. But that's not where it stops. There's an update. He says, for the following few days, my wife kept talking about how I was financially abusing her. She threw several tantrums despite apparently being severely malnourished, threatened divorce, threw a bunch of food we had in the fridge away to try to strong arm me into letting her get takeout, and even tried to guess my bank account password a bunch of times. Then last Friday, the complaints and threats stopped. She seemed mostly back to normal, and he figured that she had given up. That was until today, which was garbage day. When he took the last bag out before taking the bin down to the curb, he discovered half a dozen fast food bags and other takeout containers in it. His wife wasn't supposed to have access to money. He had no idea how she was affording the food. Apparently, she had gone and taken out a predatory payday loan. He says, within the next hour, I froze my credit. I then drove her to the payday loan place where I paid the loan off in cash. I will now have to dip further into my savings to pay the rent. He ends it with, in addition, I told her that we would be getting divorced. So yeah, my marriage is over. That's a lot. So she says that he was financially abusing her, but I also see an argument that can be made to say that she was kind of financially abusing him too. An example of financial abuse would be when someone limits someone else's access to money in order to control them, which is kind of what he did to her. However, context matters, because if her spending habits were putting them into a hole financially, then like I said, I could also see an argument for him also being a recipient of financial abuse. I mean, spending $1,200 in a month on takeout, that's not a small amount of money. That's some people's mortgage, that's some people's rent, that's their student loan payments and their car payment. And if her actions were jeopardizing their future, his future, then that's not okay. She's basically committing him to working more hours to pay off all of the stuff that she is buying unnecessarily. However, there's a really important theme here that I think that we need to explore, which is, why is she ordering so much takeout? Is she doing okay? I have a chronic illness, and I know that when I am having a lot of trouble with that, my mental health really suffers. So if she has a disability, which is causing her to be off of work, how is she doing? Because spending money is rarely the cause of the problem. The spending of the money is a symptom of a deeper problem. Was she lonely? Was she frustrated? Is she not feeling good about herself? Is she trying to punish him? I do think what he did was extreme, and I think there's a lot of steps that should have come before that to figure out what the root cause was, like having money dates, trying to get on the same page financially, understanding, if she understands financial literacy, does she even understand what their financial situation is at that time? Was she spending like that before when she was working and she just hasn't mentally caught up to the fact that we're living on less now? If takeout is a top value of hers and she values convenience and good food, was there a way that she could have contributed to it at all? Maybe she could have got a side hustle, something she could do from home, on the phone, part-time. Did she understand the opportunity cost, meaning the things that they have to give up if she wants to be able to afford that? And if they couldn't figure this out between the two of them, then I think probably therapy would have been a logical next step. I think approaching this situation with compassion and curiosity and understanding probably could have changed the outcome.